Hello, future chemists. Welcome to an exciting journey into the world of advanced chemistry. Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating chapter of alkanes, specifically focusing on how we prepare these fundamental organic molecules. From simple building blocks to complex structures, we'll explore various methods. Get ready for a 4-level challenge: easy, medium, hard, and hardest, designed to strengthen your understanding and prepare you for competitive exams. Let's begin. Ready to uncover the basic secrets of alkane preparation? Let's start with some straightforward methods that lay the foundation. Alkanes are the simplest family of organic compounds, known as saturated hydrocarbons because they contain only single bonds between carbon atoms. Their general formula, CnH2n+2, defines their structure. They are incredibly stable and form the backbone of many fuels and materials. Understanding how to prepare them is crucial. We'll explore reactions that allow us to either add hydrogen to unsaturated molecules or couple smaller fragments together to form these versatile compounds. This foundational knowledge is key to advanced organic chemistry. Our first method is *** hydrogenation of unsaturated hydrocarbons ***. Imagine taking an alkene or alkyne, full of double or triple bonds, and simply adding hydrogen gas. With the help of catalysts like nickel, platinum, or palladium, those multiple bonds break and hydrogen atoms attach, converting the unsaturated molecule into a saturated alkane. For example, ethene becomes ethane. Our second method is the ** Wurtz reaction ***. Here, two molecules of an alkyl halide, say methyl bromide, react with sodium metal in dry ether. They essentially couple up to form a symmetrical alkane, like ethane, releasing sodium halide as a byproduct. It's like stitching two identical pieces together. Now, it's time to test your foundational knowledge. Take a moment to answer these 3 questions. What type of bond defines alkanes? Can you write the equation for propene's hydrogenation? And what alkane forms from methyl iodide in a Wurtz reaction? Pause, think, and then check your understanding. These are basic concepts you must master. Great job with the basics. Now, let's step up our game. We'll delve into more methods and explore the nuances and limitations of the reactions we've already touched upon, moving towards a deeper understanding. Let's quickly recap our initial methods. Catalytic hydrogenation is a powerful tool, converting alkenes and alkynes into alkanes efficiently, often with specific conditions like heat or pressure. Remember, it's a SYN addition, meaning hydrogens add to the same phase. The Wurtz reaction, while useful for symmetrical alkanes like ethane or N-butane, faces a significant challenge. If you try to mix 2 different alkyl halides to get an unsymmetrical alkane, you'll end up with a messy mixture of 3 different products, making it impractical for such synthesis. This limitation highlights the need for more selective methods. Moving on to a new method, ** decarboxylation of carboxylic acids ***. This is a fantastic way to shorten a carbon chain. When you heat the sodium salt of a carboxylic acid with soda lime, which is a mixture of sodium hydroxide and calcium oxide, the carboxyl group is removed as carbon dioxide. What's left is an alkane with 1 less carbon atom than your starting acid. For instance, sodium acetate, with 2 carbons, yields methane, or 1-carbon alkane. The calcium oxide here is vital. It keeps the sodium hydroxide dry and prevents it from melting and attacking the glass apparatus, ensuring a smooth reaction. Our fourth important method is the ** reduction of alkyl halides ***. This is a direct route to replace a halogen atom with a hydrogen atom. There are several ways to achieve this. You can use a combination of zinc metal and hydrochloric acid, which effectively swaps out the halogen for a hydrogen. For example, 1-bromopropane becomes propane. Alternatively, powerful reducing agents like lithium aluminium hydride, or Lyell-4, can achieve the same transformation. Lyell-4 is a versatile reagent capable of reducing primary, secondary, and tertiary alkyl halides to their corresponding alkanes. While sodium borohydride, NaBH4, is a milder option, it's generally less reactive towards simple alkyl halides compared to Lyell-4. Alright, time for some medium-level challenges. Think about why Wurtz's reaction isn't ideal for propane synthesis, predict the product of sodium propanone decarboxylation, and suggest how to convert 1-chlorobutane to N-butane using a metallic reducing agent. Also, consider the reducing agents and the ease of decarboxylation. Take your time to formulate your answers, applying the concepts we've just covered. Excellent work! Now, let's dive into the hard level. We'll explore more sophisticated synthetic routes and critically compare the different methods to understand their advantages and disadvantages. At this level, we introduce two powerful new methods. First, the Cory-House synthesis also known as the Gilman reagent synthesis. This method is a game changer because it allows us to prepare unsymmetrical alkanes with high yield, overcoming the Wurtz reaction's limitations. It involves converting an alkyl halide into an organolithium compound, then to a lithium dialkyl cuprate, or Gilman reagent. This Gilman reagent then reacts with a second, different primary alkyl halide to form the desired alkane, elegantly bypassing the formation of unwanted mixtures. The reaction proceeds via an SN-to-like mechanism, making it quite selective. Next, we have Kolbe's electrolytic method ***. This is a unique approach that uses electricity to prepare alkenes. When an aqueous solution of a sodium or potassium salt of a carboxylic acid is electrolyzed, the carboxylate ion loses an electron at the anode, forms a radical, decarboxylates, and two alkyl radicals then combine to form a symmetrical alkane. This method is particularly useful for creating alkanes with an even number of carbon atoms, such as ethane from sodium acetate. It's a fascinating example of how electrochemistry can be used in organic synthesis. However, it's important to note that side products like alkenes can sometimes form. Now, let's critically compare these methods. The Wurtz reaction, as we discussed, is limited to symmetrical alkenes or yields mixtures. Cory-House synthesis, on the other hand, excels at preparing unsymmetrical alkanes with good control. Decarboxylation shortens the carbon chain, removing a carbon atom as CO2. Kolbe's electrolysis, conversely, effectively doubles the alkyl group, leading to a longer, symmetrical alkane. When choosing a method, factors like the desired alkane structure, the availability and cost of starting materials, desired yield, and potential side reactions are all crucial considerations for a synthetic chemist. Time to apply your advanced understanding. These questions will challenge you to design synthesis, explain mechanisms, compare methods, and predict products under specific conditions. Think deeply about the scope and limitations of each reaction. How would you make N-butane using two different methods? Or 2-methylpropane via Cory-House? What are the roles of specific reagents? Tackle these problems to solidify your knowledge and prepare for complex exam scenarios. You've mastered the hard stuff. Now, brace yourselves for the ultimate challenge, the hardest level. Here, we'll dive into the intricate mechanisms, industrial applications, and advanced problem-solving techniques essential for G-advanced and a deeper understanding of organic chemistry. Let's dissect the mechanisms at a deeper level. Kolbe's electrolysis, for instance, involves a captivating free radical pathway at the anode. Carboxylate ions are oxidized to acyloxy radicals, which then swiftly lose carbon dioxide to form alkyl radicals. These highly reactive alkyl radicals then couple to form the alkane. Understanding competing reactions, like disproportionation, which can lead to alkenes, is vital. The Wurtz reaction, while often taught as a radical coupling, also has evidence supporting organometallic or SN2-like pathways, particularly for primary halides. The Corey-Howe synthesis, a jewel of organometallic chemistry, involves Gilman reagents acting as soft nucleophiles, attacking alkyl halides in an SN2-like manner, allowing for selective C-to-C bond formation with excellent functional group tolerance. Beyond the lab, some alkane preparations are industrial giants. The Fischer-Tropsch synthesis is a prime example. This process converts syngas, a mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen, into liquid hydrocarbons, including a wide range of alkanes. Catalysts like iron or cobalt, under specific temperature and pressure conditions, facilitate this complex reaction, involving surface chemistry and chain growth mechanisms. It's a critical technology for producing fuels and chemicals from non-petroleum sources like coal or natural gas, addressing energy security and resource diversification. The challenge lies in controlling the distribution of products, as a mix of different chain lengths and functional groups are typically formed. Let's also consider stereochemistry. Catalytic hydrogenation, for example, is typically a SYN addition, meaning both hydrogen atoms add to the same face of the double bond, leading to specific stereoisomers. Understanding how reactions affect chiral centers is crucial. The Wurtz reaction is best suited for primary alkyl halides. For secondary or tertiary halides, competing elimination reactions become significant, leading to undesired alkene byproducts. Corey-Howe synthesis stands out for its high functional group tolerance, allowing for the synthesis of complex molecules without affecting other sensitive groups. Coal-based electrolysis, while powerful for symmetrical alkanes, cannot produce methane and can be prone to side reactions, influencing product purity and yield. Mastering these nuances is key to strategic synthesis. Finally, let's talk about strategic synthesis and retrosynthetic analysis. When you're faced with a target alkane, the most effective approach is to work backward. Is the alkane symmetrical or unsymmetrical? If symmetrical, consider Wurtz or Kolbe. If unsymmetrical, Corey-Howe's is often your best bet. Do you need to shorten a chain? Decarboxylation? Do you need to saturate a double bond? Hydrogenation. The choice of method depends on various factors: the desired product structure, the availability and cost of starting materials, the expected yield, the ease of product separation, and the compatibility with other functional groups present in the molecule. A skilled chemist understands these trade-offs to design the most efficient and selective synthetic route. All right, here are your first 5 challenges for the hardest level. These questions demand a deep understanding of reaction mechanisms, multi-step synthesis design, and critical comparison of methods. Take your time to outline mechanisms, justify your choices, and explain the intricacies of each reaction. Good luck with these advanced problems. And here are the final 5 questions to truly push your limits. These problems will test your ability to predict complex products, discuss stereochemical outcomes, propose alternative synthesis, and analyze the practical implications of different preparation methods. Think like a researcher, consider all possibilities, and provide comprehensive answers. This is where you truly demonstrate your mastery of alkane preparation. You've got this. Congratulations on completing this intensive journey through the preparation of alkanes. We've covered everything from basic reactions to advanced mechanisms and industrial processes, equipping you with the knowledge for G Advanced. For more such engaging and in-depth content, visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for regular updates and to continue your learning adventure. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep excelling. See you next time.